Hey people, this is top secret. They don't even teach this in medical school anymore. Now they just teach them to take blood and put it in a computer and see what it tells them. But back in the day, the doctor, you went in, the first thing he did, he looked in your mouth and your ears and in your eyes. And so I heard Dr. Oz say one time, he said, I'm not looking at your eyes, I'm looking in your eyes. He says the eye's the window to the brain. I can look through the back of your eye and I can see if your brain's healthy. So several years back, my little young McDonald's loving girlfriend called me. She said she was at the emergency room, so I went down to see her. And it's hard to tell. She had a rough childhood. She was real good at dealing with pain. So I sit with her about 15 minutes, and the doctor comes in, and he's holding his computer printout, and he done took some blood, and he says, there's nothing wrong with you. And so I gave him the look, something wrong with you, because she's yellow. I said, did you look in her eyes? Did you look in her ears? Did you look in her mouth? She's yellow. And so he stooped over and got a closer look. He says, she got jaundice. I said, no shit. So ancient people had a word for this, and it was called analyze. And that's exactly what this sees. That's how you would read this, in all eyes. See, the B, everybody knew that it meant in. You read it, and even if you're looking at the Hebrew Bible, when a B begins a word, they say it means in. And then A-L-E-Y-M. So this is a final M, and when an M's on the end of a word, in Hebrew they say it means plural, and that's because it was pronounced as an S. And if you look at the old letter meaning charts, they have final letters. Like this is an N, and when it becomes at the end of a word, they just drop the tail straight down. They do this with all the final letters. A final X, they just drop the tail. The top's the same, they drop the tail. Except with the M. On the M, the final M looks a lot more like the S, with a modified tail right here. And it reads in it as an S when it's on the end of a word, and that's what this says, is B-N-A-L-E-Y-S, in all eyes. It's in all eyes, in all lies. Analyze, in all lies. And so they turned this into the word God, all lies, in all lies. And so I'm sure this came around about the time of King James, before people knew that this meant in all eyes. To out this in see the lie in all eyes. You can see it here in all the final letters. The final cough, the K, they just drop the tail down. Final N, the final P, same letter, just drop the tail down. And so if the M was the same, they would have just dropped this straight down. This would be straight down. The top would be the same. They wouldn't have changed that. And you can see it here in this ancient Latin word for God, the D, through eyes. The D was the ancient triangle, and it meant the pathway, the way through the door, the way through the eyes. See it here, the D, through eyes, is the God. Not to be confused with days, a raised platform where the God would be sitting. We can see this here in Genesis 56:10, where they took this word, in all lies, and they interpret it as in God. The B is the in, and Elohim is the first word for God in the Bible, and they give it God all the way through, or gods. But this word God, this originated from odd. It's And it meant odd. It meant the things that you couldn't explain. You know, magnetism and chemical reactions that people couldn't explain. They called them odd. Oh, that's from odd. And so, you know, if something was from odd, or you know, somebody that they call, well, he's touched in the head, they say he's touched by God. You know, he's not quite right. It means there's something odd there. And this is your G. G is a foot. It means to carry, to lift or carry. You know, so God is to carry the odd, to carry what's strange, what we can't explain. And so, you know, that was for the people. You know, it's just odd. The scholars was reading this, and they knew it meant to analyze in all eyes, to check it out, to see why it does what it does. So I found this when I was looking at these Solomon seals, and it'll tell where you can go in the Bible to find where these words around the outside are. You know, it'll tell me to go to Psalms 112:3 here to see what these words mean. And so what these words mean is, in God we trust. And this is that word for trust here in the bite chit, the bite chitty, and it comes up many times in Psalms and a couple other places. And I analyze the bite chitty. In God I put my trust. And you might have heard this term before, in God we trust. And you can see it here with the diaz right here, through eyes. Analyze in the bite chitty. And so this word here, I have put my trust. This is the BT here, BTH, the bite. And so the B meaning in, and this tet here means to collect. You can see it here, the ninth letter, number 9, the tet, the serpent. It means to twist, to surround, to gather, twist it around. So on a boat, we would call this the bite, just twisted around. You can see how it's lashed together here. And it's called a bite because, you know, if you put an anchor on one end and you stand in this bite, in the hole is in the bite, and you throw that anchor, it'll bite your foot and drag you to the bottom of the seal. So don't stand in the bite. But it's the same, you know. What do you see in the bite is dead presidents. Dead presidents, the same in the bite on your money. It's those dead presidents. You can see it here. In God we trust. Analyze the bite chit. You should look at the dime, and you'll still see the rope tied around it. The outside of the dime will have the rope edge on it, and you can see it here. You know, the rope, the bite, and then the HTI. The H is pronounced CH. The chit. The chit is paper money. Get your chits and you use them as money. In the surround of the chit. Analyze and surround the chit. In God I have put my trust. You know, trust is another word that they use for you trusting the government with your gold, and you taking their bite chit and their chit, their paper money. So in my last movie, I was looking at the Pentacles of the moon, and this sixth one is in the story of Noah's Ark, and it's kind of split up. This is 2 different lines that they'd split up. They missed some words in there, and I have to read the whole chapter to try to explain this. So I'm gonna move back up and get to some of these other seals of Jupiter and Saturn on the next one. Alright, I'm gonna cut this off here. Good day.